Hetche. Hi, welcome. I am Randy Wallace, and this is my little corner in the internet, and I call it Squaw's Corner. I call it that because I am of American Indian heritage. My grandmother and mother, they had a cafe that was named Squaw's Corner, and that was in the 60s. So, different time, but it's my little tribute to my family. With a few days ago, with the coming ending of a year and the coming of a new year and resolutions and goals or what, and I was reflecting a little bit on how life has changed for me since deciding to live as a girl. And there's some remarkable differences from when my life as a boy to my life as a girl. And, well, this goes all the way back to my childhood. I played a lot of sports, and I played fairly aggressively, and I was very competitive. Broke my left ankle in 3 places playing softball. I was on third base, but I got the runner out. cost me the summer in a cast, but it's what it was. But I think when I look back on it and I think of the differences for me, as a boy, dressing up was a pair of jeans and some kind of polo collared shirt, just a simple shirt with a collar. That was, to me, that was dressing up. And I didn't like it. I was perfectly happy. I preferred to be in jeans and a t-shirt. And probably a lot of guys did. But it also reflected in my how I grew up. I was very conscious of what I wore, and not from the standpoint of that I wanted to look nice. I think it was the opposite, because I had this desire to look nice. I wanted to look pretty. But I was afraid to, because I was a boy, and boys didn't wear nice things. We wore t-shirts and blue jeans, and we were greasy, and we had scars on our fingers from bicycle accidents and later motorcycle accidents and sporting events and things like that. So I think on a certain level, I was trying to hide my desire, or what I thought was if I dressed this way, I would be seen as being soft or being feminine, which was, I was fighting. I didn't know I was fighting it. It's just what but this is what I'm looking back and what I realize. When I got into like junior high and high school, it became a little harder for me. I looked at a lot of the girls at school, and it wasn't that I was looking at them thinking how attractive they were. Which they, the ones I was looking at were attractive. but I was looking at more about what they were wearing and how they were wearing it and how it made them prettier or accentuated their looks and made them more attractive. So I was looking more at fashion when I looked at girls, not so much girls as a dating object or subject. Trying not to be sexist there. It makes me think when I think I was in 7th grade. And I got to take care, well, I did this for several years. But the neighbors 2 doors down, and for anybody that watches this that knew me or knew where I grew up, they're going to know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention their names. I mean, they're long gone, I'm sure. They were my grandparents' age then. But they would leave during the week and only be home during the weekends. So during the week, I would take care of the house. I'd go over, pick up the mail, feed and take care of the dogs when they would leave the dogs. I had little chihuahuas. And water the yard. Made a few bucks a week for doing that. And I did that for a couple of years. But the lady of the house, she was kind of a statuesque woman. She was tall. She was, I'm sure that in her day, she was a very beautiful woman. And she was still quite, I guess, good looking for being a woman that was probably in her 60s at the time. And she'd taken good care of herself. She was fit. She wasn't overweight or anything like that. But I had learned that I could, at the time, her clothes fit me. So during my week over there, I would take 10 or 15 minutes and I would steal away. She had a spare bedroom that she used as a sewing room. So there was the sewers, the seamstress mannequin or model in there that's adjustable and everything. And she would always have clothes in there and everything. Well, I started trying these things on and it evolved. But anyhow, this went on for a pretty good while. And one day, when they were gone, I went over there, my normal little thing, and outside, start the water, feed the dog. And I went into the room, and there was this beautiful, dress, a stylish dress for late 60s, early 70s. So I was like 7th, 8th grade, 6th grade maybe. It was in that time frame. There's this beautiful little dress that girls at that time would have been wearing. And I looked at it, and there was a note hanging that was pinned on it, right? Just a piece of paper, and it had my name on it. And it said Randy. So I read the note with great interest. And it was something along the lines of, I know you've been wearing my things or trying them on. And she says, please refrain from my clothes and use yours. This is for you. And she gave me a nice little dress and a pair of sandals, heels, and some pantyhose. And, I think back on this, but, the note had a little PS there. It said something along the lines, I know that you've been doing this. And she said, don't be ashamed. Don't worry. I will not tell your parents. This is our secret. And this continued for, till I outgrew everything. So she only bought it the one time. And it lasted probably a couple of months before I had another growth spurt and just simply got, got too big. And, but it was, kind of a turning point in my life, I guess. But she never told on me, not that I know of. I never heard anything about it. And I think it was that summer that they moved. They sold the house. They retired. She was retired, or she was a housewife. Her husband, he retired, and they moved to Arkansas, if I remember correctly. Never seen them again. Never heard from them. And like I said, they were in their 60s then, in the 1960s, so they're long gone. And they were very good people, and she was very nice to me, and I remember her for that, and I thank her for that. But move forward. Got sidetracked on that little thought. How my life has changed. When I was in junior high and high school, I was very clumsy, I guess. Of course, we were all kind of at that age, clumsy around the opposite sex. And I could talk to girls, but I always was more talking about, I had a lot of friends who were girls in school, and we could talk almost intimately because I wasn't interested in them as being a girlfriend. I was more interested in how they were thinking, or what they were thinking, and fashion, and and I was just trying to understand them a little bit, or being a girl. So it wasn't until I was in 12th grade that I actually had a girlfriend. I'm not going to get into that. But as I look back on it today, my style of dress then, I was very blah. I mean, up until I was 50 years old, till I started kind of transitioning. When I would get dressed up, I had, even when I got my career through the military and the family and everything, I basically lived in jeans and t-shirts. I was still always afraid of expressing myself and dressing nice. And I think it was that I was trying to hide that little aspect of my life of wanting to look pretty, look nice. So when I started being more forward or bore out with myself, I soon realized that as a boy, I dressed very plain. I was very shy, bashful. Didn't matter where. I just did. I wasn't a free conversationalist. It took me. I had to get to know somebody, and that would take a while. As a girl, I am very much an extrovert. As a boy, I was an introvert. Yeah, I was an introvert. As a girl, I am very much an extrovert. I love to dress nice. I love to wear a beautiful dress and heels and go out. Never did that as a boy. I mean, jeans or something. I know it was. I went out for dinner. It was jeans and a t-shirt. I go out for dinner now. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna look nice. I'm gonna primp and I'm gonna put on something. I mean, even my casual or dress down is nice looking, but that's who I am as a girl. I've also, like I said, boy, I was an introvert. As a girl, I'm an extrovert. I strike up a conversation with somebody and I just have fun. I will laugh with them. I will tell them jokes. I will listen to their jokes. And everybody tells me that I've been told that I have a wonderful, positive atmosphere, I guess. And I had one gentleman tell me, "Don't change a thing." He says, "You're wonderful the way you are." He says, "Be happy," and I am. That's part of my change. As a boy, I was I wasn't as happy as I could be. I wasn't sad. I wasn't depressed. I don't think so. And but there was a little something missing, and it was often filled or made me feel nicer when I had those little, sometimes hours, sometimes a day or two, events where I got to have something, a dress, a pair of pantyhose, a pair of heels, and got to wear them. And it was a total euphoric release for me. It just made me happy. It was an endorphin dump. I mean, my brain I was perfectly happy. So that, as I progressed, and then the divorce, and I started to accumulate. When I got divorced, I had one dress, one pair of heels, one outfit, and that was kept in a suitcase. My ex knew about it, but I was never allowed to wear it at home. Of course, we had 3 children. So that was always there for whenever I got to be away for a day or something like, or, whatever. But today, I don't have a pair. I have girls' jeans. They're slim, they're tight, but they're girls' jeans. I don't have any boy jeans, they're just dungaree kind of work around the yard kind of jeans. Although I do ride a Harley Davidson. And I fell in love with riding motorcycles as a kid. And so when I go out to ride on the bike, even though I've bought my gear that I wear is of the female design, you can't really tell, what sex is underneath all this gear. So, I like, it doesn't bother me when I stop someplace and somebody refers to me as a guy, because I think most of the time they see people on a Harley Davidson and they just think when you take the helmet off, they're going to see a beard and tattoos and all that, and it'd be a guy. Well, there's a lot of girls that ride bikes now, and I ride an adventure bike, so that's one for street and dirt. So I have fun doing that. That I'm not giving up. I don't care if that crosses the gender. Guys do it, girls do it. It don't matter. But when it comes down to it, the difference between being a boy and being a girl, for me, and I've kind of said this a number of times, I've got it wrote down on my Facebook page, that I was born a boy, but I'm much happier being a girl. And that's really all it comes down to. And there are so many people out here that want to analyze and, you know, what's your reason, and try to understand it. And then there's the extreme of, well, if you feel like it, go do it. Well, I've done it. I've lived through it. I'm happy. I am very happy. I do not regret what I have done. But it took me a lot of years to get there. So if you do it very early in your life, I don't know, you know, take it in steps. It's, I'm sure there's some things that you can stop. You can stop taking, you know, I'm on the HRT, the hormone replacement therapy. I'm sure I could stop that and certain things would happen, or, you know, my testosterone would come back, and things like that. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. So when I did this, you know, there are things that I had to evaluate my own mind and make a determination that I wanted to go with this, down this road, this path. For me, it was the right decision. Because I don't know when I knew it or felt it. It was young. My mother said I was prissy when I was a toddler. She referred to me as prissy. And she didn't tell me that until the last time I saw her. And that would have been in 2008, was the last time I really saw my mother in person. And she did, and that's about the most she would talk about this. She knew it, but I was home for my dad's funeral, so I did not go as a girl. And I did that out of respect for my mother, and it was a tough time for her. So I didn't need to go and throw something else on her. Plus she had cancer. She had 3 cancers. So, breast cancer, lung cancer, and skin cancer. You know? But she lived a hard life, but she had a good life. I think she had a good life. I think she thinks, you know, she lived a good life. So, regrets? I could find something to regret. But I'm happy. And that's what counts for me. So what you need to do to find your happiness and where you need to be in that space, in this place, in this world, what you need to do, it's a new year. Find your happiness. Don't know where it is. I don't even know how. You know, I guess that's sort of a lot of what I'm thought about talking about on this little channel. It's how do we find our happiness? We all got to find our own trail. We got to do it ourselves. Because the way I do this, it won't be the way you do it. It may be similar. We may do the same things. We may do it in different orders. And you may start down it and the results, and you may say, no, this is not for me, or, you know, or go slower or go faster. Do what's right for you. Don't worry about what I think about it. Don't worry about what somebody else thinks about it. Be concerned and talk with your family, whether you got your own family or your parents or siblings or whatever. Don't destroy a family because of this. Well, sometimes it's inevitable. Some family will never accept it. I know that. I'm pretty lucky. My ex accepts it to a degree. I'd say to a degree. My children all accept me. My grandchildren accept me. And the in-laws, they all accept me. My sister accepts me. My brother, I don't know. Well, we never got along anyhow. We're too far apart. We're 6 years apart. I mean, I left home at 17. So he was just like 10 or 11 when I left home. And since then, we probably have only seen one another maybe half a dozen times. Of course, he lives in Nevada. I live in Maryland. I was in the military. He was in the military. We were on opposite countries or the sides of the world at different times. Although he was only in the military, I think, 6 years. But I haven't seen or spoke with him since when I was home when our mother passed. And that was in 14. So, haven't heard from him since. Reached out a couple times. I was in town 2 years ago, and I reached out, tried to call and text him. I got a hold of his wife, and she says, well, he's home, but I don't know. She says, just text to his number, which is, what I did. I didn't hear from him. So, I don't think it's so much this. We just haven't communicated, before this. So that's probably enough for today. I don't know. I didn't see how long I was going to talk. I didn't put a timer on this. What I'll talk about next time, I don't know. So it is a new year. Figure out what your goal is for the year, where you want to be at the end of the year. Write it down. Do a vision board. Maybe I should talk about doing a vision board. I did one. I do one. Mine's in my bedroom where I can see it every day when I get up. And it's constantly evolving. The hard part sometimes is finding pictures or a motorcycle or article. A lot of times I just print out stuff from the internet that I put on there and the things I want to do. So with that, I'm going to say Mado. That's thank you and goodbye. And until the next time, have a wonderful day and a great new year. Thank you.